All right, thanks for joining us for another Spin That Shit podcast. Great artist with us today, John R. Miller. Been playing him heavy on rotation here for last few weeks. Big fan. He's you know, extremely talented. New album coming out July 16th. We're gonna talk about that. Some previous stuff that he's done. Pick his brain about music and the writing process, all that good stuff. Talk about touring. And but before we do that, we definitely have to put all the links up here. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, subscribe on YouTube. If you'd like to help us out, donate. There's a link in the description. Click there, throw us a few bones, keep us rolling here. We greatly appreciate it. So let's go talk to John.
Hey, is this working?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. How you been?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad at all.
Probably doing a lot better now since music can start back and people can start touring again.
Yeah, it feels pretty good, man. I'm not gonna lie, but getting pretty excited for the summer.
Right on. We just got some questions for you, and this is a laid back show. We're no professionals by any means, but we love talking to people about music and music we like. So, can you give us a little background of how you grew up, where you grew up, and where you learned to play the certain styles that you do and that good stuff?
Sure. I grew up in the Eastern Panhandle of West Virginia, around the Martinsburg area. Technically, Hedgesville is where I sort of grew up and went to school. And when I was in high school, I started kind of playing guitar, or trying to teach myself how to play guitar when I was about 14, and sort of trying to write songs. I was kind of into sort of punk rock kind of stuff at that point, and trying to teach myself power chords on my dad's nylon string classical guitar that in the closet, was pretty silly. I eventually actually kind of put a hole in the top of that guitar and put it back in the closet. But yeah, I started kind of playing in some bands around town, or trying to start bands with buddies, and we'd put on our own shows, and it's kind of, I feel like it's pretty common thing, when you're a teenager, to start a garage band and try to put on shows for your friends.
Yep, I've been down that road.
I got a nylon string guitar from my grandma. Did the same thing. Didn't put a hole in it, but that resonates with me for sure.
Yeah, you're learning power chords on it.
Yep, that's still all I know. We go out
Yeah.
and jam with my son. He plays drums, so that's about all I can do. He's light years ahead of me. So
Nice.
You started him out right though. You got him young.
yeah.
I was playing sports and stuff. I was like, Mom, why didn't you get me a guitar or something? What the hell?
Yeah, I never really made any teams, so the guitar was kind of the next best thing for me. So
Yeah, I wish I would have went down that path instead. You can soak up the stuff, with the sponge-like brain at a young age, and then, time goes on, it's harder to pick up on things and keep them.
yeah, I've been finding that out myself. Just even just trying to play some different instruments and learn new things is harder than it used to be. But
yeah. So what's go ahead, Garrett.
Who were you listening to growing up? Well, you mentioned some punk influences, but maybe the journey, who you started listening to, and maybe who influenced where you're at now.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, I guess when I was like 14, I was listening to bands like, Descendants and NoFX and Lagwagon, and a lot of the Fat Wreck, and that sort of, like, Jawbreaker was one of my favorites. Some like sort of melodic punk kind of stuff. And then when I got a little older, I started kind of getting into more songwriting based stuff, and I a buddy of mine introduced me to John Prine's music when I was like 18 or 19. And that just sort of, flipped a switch, like it probably does for a lot of people the first time they hear John Prine, and that sort of course corrected me, at least in what I wanted to start pursuing, and tried to get a little more serious about writing songs. And then, kind of gradually fell in love with a lot of the Texas songwriters. A lot of the guys like Guy Clark and Towns, and Blaze Foley, and Jerry Jeff Walker is one of my all-time favorites too. And like Steve Earle was kind of an early way for me to fall down that rabbit hole, that stuff all really resonated with me and still does. So that's kind of when I started really trying to write better songs, and just try to get better at it once I kind of realized that there was a precedent for that sort of thing,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was when I first heard your music was a couple of years ago. Actually, you played at Duke's Indy, and you're playing there again, I see. Both times, last time and this time, I'm going to be out of town for work, of course. But that last time you rolled through, I was checking your stuff out, and I thought right away you paint a picture with the lyrics, and it's one of those things where you believe the artist when they're singing it too, because there's guys that write some stuff, but like there's like I don't know, something not connecting. But for you, it seems to flow easy, and I can visually see it when you're talking about certain things,
I appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah, that was a big thing that stuck out to me. So what's kind of like your writing process, or is it just totally sporadic or random? Just things come to you?
Yeah, it has in the past been pretty sporadic. Especially like I kind of started touring pretty regularly when I was about 20 or 21 with a string band. We played a lot of like fiddle tunes and original songs and stuff. And I kind of split songwriting duties with a guy in that band. Where it's kind of had little spurts of intentionality to it. A lot of the time when I started traveling a lot, things just sort of, I just try to write down things when they popped into my head and then see what happens to them later. And I would write a lot while I was on long drives and things like that. Anything where you could sort of zone out with a loose focus and not have to think too hard about what you're doing, But I have since more recently, and especially this past year, because we haven't been doing any traveling, tried to really like get into a routine and sit down and so I've been when I can, I've been trying to get up pretty early every morning and drink a bunch of coffee and try to like just sort of show up to work, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been really good for me, and I think is helping me get more used to the process in a more disciplined way. I'm just sort of trying that because I've never really been too disciplined about it in the past.
Yeah.
When you sit and talk about disciplined writing, just write, see what comes out or whatever. But so in songs like Shenandoah Shakedown, is there a personal tie to that, or is it just some words you were playing with? What's that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that song is sort of a kind of a collection of vignettes that I was trying to sort of retrospectively work my way through the end of a relationship, and a relationship with a place. Like the place that I used to live it's really close to the Shenandoah River, and I spent a lot of time out there, floating on tubes, eating acid mushrooms, just kind of like trying to figure out what I was doing. I was like a 20-something-year-old kid, and is sort of a confusing time. So I think that song just was sort of a way for me to work through some of those memories.
I think that one's my favorite so far
Ooh.
that you've recently released. I love the mandolin touch in there. That I think
Yeah,
sets it
that's
off.
John Looney. He's a great player, man. He's a Kentucky guy that plays with us in the regular road band, and plays some guitar too. He's a great musician. So
3 tracks out right now. The full album comes out July 16th, I think. Tell us
yep.
about it.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Tell us a little bit more about it.
Oh, well, we recorded it back in January of 2020. Just kind of saved up money from touring and stuff, and it was kind of time to make another album. So got together with my buddies Justin Francis and Adam Meisterhans. Adam's an old friend of mine from West Virginia too, and he played guitar all over the record and helped produce it. And Justin is an old friend that I've never gotten to like work on a real project with before. He's done some mastering and mixing for me in the past. But this was kind of the first like really intentional record that I tried to put together, and we did it at Sound Emporium here in Nashville, and did all the tracking in about 3 days with most of the guys in the regular band, and a couple other guys came in and did overdubs kind of after the fact. Robbie Crowell came in and did some keys, and we were fortunate to have him, and fortunate to get Russ Paul to come in and do pedal steel on a couple of the songs, and that sort of tied everything together. And then we kind of got it mixed and everything in February, and then everything shut down in March, and then we kind of just had this thing like, well,
sitting
I don't
on
know
it.
if we're ever going to do this again. So we were kind of just, it was kind of just floating, and we were lucky enough to find it a home kind of in that period of time. One of the Mark Williams over at Concord heard it, and eventually found us a home with Rounder for this one, which we're very, very lucky to have just sort of, I feel like we accidentally sort of stumbled into getting this record into some good hands.
I feel like with the way the pandemic played out, and there was a lot of people that had material done, it seemed like, but what was the sense of dropping it if they couldn't back it up by touring behind it, So it was like, they sit and wait. You don't know what to do.
Oh man. And I have so many friends that like, they had album releases that, they released, kind of right after everything shut down, and had to, shut down their tours and everything. I really felt for them, having to sort of squelch that. It's a lot of people really, a lot of work goes into that whole process, and it kind of really, really fucked up a lot of people's stuff,
For sure.
Yep, sure did. Me and Garrett, we collect records and stuff. We're fans of album art, and your previous album with the whale, the hunter down below in the woods, I thought was awesome. Is that something you made up, or somebody a friend? Or
that's Kelly Wills. She's done a lot of work for me, and she did the new album art as well. I know her from Harper's Ferry, West Virginia, right around where I lived for many years. She lives out in Oregon now, and she does a lot of great work for people. And she's an old friend that she's just super intuitive. Like, we sort of have a little bit of a chat about, kind of theme or vibe, if you will. And then she just kind of goes and runs
Turn her
with
loose.
it, you know? Yeah.
That's cool.
She's great.
Yeah, the three songs that you do have, I feel like they have their own little differences, but then with the way you sing and how you phrase things, it brings it all together. So it's not like you're listening to the same sort of song over and over. Like Looking Over My Shoulder was more bluesy, kind of got that groove to it. And then, like I mentioned on the mandolin piece with the shakedown, it's I don't know, I'm just really into it. I've been playing it all week at work.
Nice,
For
man.
all last week and this weekend. So
thank you.
Speaking of playing that, Justin and I want a little insider information if you know it. So on Spotify, the top 5 songs, do the artists get to set that up, or is it like the most recent? Because, you know, Red Eyes has the most listens, but it's number 3. How does that set up?
I have never quite figured that out. I don't really know how any of the Spotify sausage is made, really, you know, but it's I can, my guess is that it's the top 5 most played in the last certain amount of time. I don't know if it's like the last month or the last 7 days or something like that, but I'm pretty sure that's how that's set up. I don't think anybody gets to actually like choose which songs end up being on that. I think it's just like the most active tracks at any given time.
right.
Would you want to choose? Would you want that responsibility?
Probably not. I'm trying to sort of I'm trying to live as low responsibility as possible. Sort of my life's mission, I think. But
we got some random questions we like to throw at our guests. They can be short or long answer, whatever.
Sure.
Number 1, artists you would like to work with. Is there a particular artist out there that you'd love to link up with?
Oh man, I haven't really thought about this before. Man, I would really love to sit down with Ray Wiley Hubbard. I really love his work and his attitude and everything, you know, and he's I know that he's sort of known for co-writing with people, and sort of I think that would be pretty cool to sit down and get his take on stuff. You know, he's a very wise man.
Yeah, amazing writer for sure.
Yeah. Who else?
Pick one alive and one dead.
Yeah.
One
All
that's
right.
passed.
Well, he's alive. Man, I would have loved to. Man, JJ Cale's kind of one of my all-time favorites, and I just think he's the eternally cool, you know, kind of creative genius, and I would have loved to just been a fly on the wall for some of the stuff that he worked on, you know. So yeah, I'd probably say that that's my alive and dead, Ray Wiley and JJ Cale.
Perfect. All right, next one. Okay, Justin gets mad when I said we're settling a bet, but we're keeping a tally of what people answer because we have differing opinions. So Beatles or Stones? If you had to pick one.
Oh man. I've seen bar fights started over this, you know.
Whatever your answer is, you'll probably change it tomorrow. That's how it's been.
Yeah, I know, man. I've always been a Stones guy. I think that's gonna have to kind of be my answer by default. And you know, I love I love Revolver and the White Album, and I love the Beatles too, but the Stones, like that's kind of where my heart's always been, you know.
All right.
Did a tally by my name, Garrett.
Yep,
Uh-oh.
you got it.
Okay. What about a guilty pleasure type song or artist that you listen to that somebody wouldn't necessarily think you would listen to? Something you listen to behind closed doors where no one's watching.
Tell the world right now.
Well, I have to check my Spotify history here. I don't know. I really like TLC's Crazy Sexy Cool.
That's a good one.
Yes. Man, that's a good. We've had some good ones where people have listed. That might be up there for me.
Yeah, I've always loved that record since I was a kid, and I think it holds up. You know.
I think so too.
Yes.
All right, you mentioned trying to learn some new instruments. It's a little bit harder nowadays. So if you could wake up tomorrow with the knowledge to play X instrument flawlessly, what would it be?
Fiddle. I've been like hacking away at the fiddle for a few years now, and it's like the hardest thing that I've ever attempted to do. And I've mostly just learned like old time tunes and stuff, and that's kind of like that. I've always really loved that, especially West Virginia tunes and Kentucky, and that's I used to go to a lot of fiddle conventions and stuff, and used to play in a string band, and that's always kind of my heart's always been with that. So I think if I could do that, I'd be pretty satisfied. But just learning it is really fun, you know. And that's kind of what I try to play a little fiddle every day, and that's kind of how it's you use a different part of your brain than you do trying to write songs, doing that kind of thing, you know, and it keeps me balanced.
Yep.
What other instruments do you play outside of that, or the guitar? And
yeah, I mostly have been a bass player when I've played with other people. I've played like sideman as a bass player and with a lot of different bands and songwriters over the years, and upright bass and electric. And that's sort of like when I haven't been doing my own thing, that's kind of been my main job, you know.
right. That's cool. The last one I got here is, if you had a free night to do whatever you wanted, what's just like a good ass night for you to, what would you want to do with that time? Call up some buddies, or stay by yourself, or take mushrooms and go down that river again?
Yeah, I mean, usually it kind of, like if I've got like a total like free night or a free couple of days, I'd try to eat some mushrooms and go hang out by the water or something. But or just like listen to records. I love to do that too. But I don't know, at this point, you know, I haven't really been home in a while. I think I'd probably just like to go up to West Virginia and spend some time and see some people that I haven't seen in a while. And that answer might be different after I've gotten that done with. I really need to get up there now that we're all kind of able to do that again.
Yep.
I'm missing my friends a whole lot. So
Definitely. Well, I'm excited to see you perform. Like I said, I won't be able to come to the shows here in Indy, but I did go recently, just got a ticket down for what do they call that? Birch Creek Music Festival.
Oh yeah.
Down in Crossville.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that should be cool, man. It's been a couple of years of us trying to get over there to do that, and just one thing after the other just sort of kept it from happening. But it's happening this year, and that's going to be the first date of our July tour. So I'm pretty
good.
psyched about it.
Do you know which day you're actually performing?
It is the 9th. So whatever day of the week that is. To check my calendar, I guess.
I think it's a Friday.
Yep, Friday.
Cool.
Yeah. I'll sneak out of work and get down there. It's about 5 hours from here or so. So not too bad. Right on. Gary, got any other questions for the man before we cut him loose?
I don't think so. Maybe just the normal. Tell the people where they can find you. We've already found you. Let them know.
Oh yeah. Well, hopefully we'll be in a town or a bar near you before too long. But if you go to jrmillermusic.com, you can find all the tour dates and stuff. And yeah, I guess that's probably the best way to find all the rest of the stuff too. So
yeah. And what day do we have the new album?
July 16th.
July 16th. Write that down.
You'll have physical vinyls as well?
Say it again, sorry.
Will you have physical vinyl? You're going to press it?
Oh yeah. Nice. We I think they're doing some pre-orders now, so it's up.
Great.
Vinyl and CD, and then ones and zeros.
And we'll be just shy of it at that festival. Darn it. Have to sneak a few early ones there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to have them with us. I'm not even sure
cool.
if I'm supposed to say that, but I mean, we're not going to like stop the tour and visit, post office or wherever. So we'll have them with us wherever you come to see us in July. We'll have them.
Cool. Good deal. Well, I appreciate your time, John, and I'll definitely see you out on the road.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. This is fun.
Yeah, we'll probably do another one in the future if you're willing. So we'll see where you're at in a year from now. Who knows?
Yeah. Sounds great.
All right. See ya.
Thanks, fellas.
See ya.